everybody, Scabard Gaming here. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Minecraft. I'm in Tech It again today. And I know in the last episode I promised you that I was going to try and reduce the amount of lag in my world, which was being caused by the quarry being fed through my sorting machine up here. Now, I've still got a little bit lag. I think it's because with the sorting machine my process is kind of getting pushed a little bit harder, and when I record it's just a little bit too much. But I looked into other sorting machines, like using blue power and stuff like that, and making the pipes opaque on this, which isn't actually possible, but even doing that it wouldn't really help. So we're just going to kind of ignore that, to be honest. And today we're going to look into something else, which is going to be defences. Now there's a couple of defences you can use. Well, there's more than a couple actually, there's a fair amount. Many of them are just kind of adaptations of fences though. Not defences, but fences. Now if I crank it up over here, now my quarry is still going over there by the mountain on the opposite side. I haven't really been in to Tech It since my last video. I've just been sort of researching different things, like ways to make the sorting machine better. But honestly, I don't really think the sorting machine is actually the problem. I think it might be my PC. I really do need an upgrade. I've been saying it in a couple of my videos recently. I really do need to sort that out this year. Now, sooner the better. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up defensive fields. Now, you probably noticed, actually, let me just... Isn't that typical? Isn't that a typical Enderman thing? You're just going to take it out of there. Get some dirt. I've still got butt face. I know I didn't in my last video. It's really just pot luck. Let's get a single bit of dirt and chuck that back in, because I can't settle for a massive hole in my garden. That's my heading. And long grass does me in as well. As cool as it looks outside of your area, it's not cool here. Right, now as I said, you probably have noticed this funky little door. Now this is just a deflector field. They're quite easy to make actually. They're only about, that's really noisy and really annoying, but you kind of run through it. It's not that bad. Now these things only cost about 2,000 EMC to make per block, so that's about 4,000 EMC door. Now what they do basically is they're kind of like electric fields, so if any mobs try to walk through it, they kind of go ah, and then they die. A single one is actually enough to kill like a zombie or a skeleton or or like a witch or something like that. Anything with low health that tries to walk through, a single one of those is enough to kill it. But higher healthed mobs like pigmen, for instance, they can walk through, and they'll probably take the majority of their health in damage, but not all of it. So if you really want to stop everything, you really do need 2 blocks thickness. It's still not going to help with Enderman. Enderman can walk through, so that's not really a big deal. Just don't annoy any Enderman. But fences and doors don't help with them anyway, do they? So what I was thinking of doing is actually creating like a force field perimeter around my build. I probably won't do all of it on the video today because it's going to take me a fair amount of time. But they don't require energy sources. They're just self-contained blocks, which, like that, cause pain. So I've already made one, which is this thing here. They're nearly 3,000 EMC each, so it's like 6,000 for a single double wall width wall. So I'm probably going to place them around my build, such as this. Now I'm going to place them in the floor, so I'll be placing them all the way around. So I'll probably dig a big trench and then place them like that, and they'll join together, because I mean that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But let's actually see how good they're going to look if I start putting them together. Going to get a stack of 64. Yeah, you see, then they start making a cube. And you can actually build like a wall of these things to contain something inside that you don't want anything to get to. I think that's kind of cool. So that anyway, that's one of your defences, and it can be really effective. It just doesn't stop flying things, and it doesn't stop like things that can teleport. But it's way more effective than a fence, and it's quite high. So anything that wants to get to your house has got to walk through this incredibly mad electric wall. And I can fly over it, so I don't need to go through that horrible sound every time. So that's not such a big deal. It looks cool from above anyway. So I'm going to build that round, probably all the way around the build. Probably ending about there. I'm not sure I really want to sort of take it right the way around the back. I don't think there's any need for that. Just to protect the doors, so it will go into the side of the wall there and probably up there. I thought that was a cow for a second, but it's not, it's my fence. Since I've made it black, I don't recognise it anymore. And I've got to go around this side, probably around there, just to... That was my cat's bell. She's on the bed today. Hey Holly. She doesn't care. So I've got to take my wall all the way around the portal and up the side there. It will probably cost me a massive amount. So it's like 6,000 DMC nearly, 5,500 DMC for each block of double thickness. Probably don't need double thickness, but I'm going to go double thickness anyway. It might as well be effective. So let's look at other ways. Now, oh, that's my that was my pedestal, my life stone. That didn't. There was something not going through there then that didn't look like normal stuff. It's too late now. It's gone. But anyway. Right, so in order to make your deflector, it's really quite simple actually. You need a couple of electric circuits, you need a redstone lamp, diamond, machine chassis and obsidian, but all of that stuff is EMCable. So once you've made it once, it's not a big deal, you can just pull it out and make it again. So like 4 of them is like 11,500 EMC, and you get 4 for every one of those recipes. It's not too bad at all. So it's an 11,500 EMC for the recipe. Now an electronic circuit is probably the most difficult thing to make there, and it really isn't. It's just redstone and gold nuggets, or redstone and copper, where the copper is obviously the cheaper of the two, with gold nuggets being 227. If you haven't got copper, then you can use gold nuggets, but why you would have gold nuggets and no copper I don't know. But anyway, that's one way of making it. The machine chassis is very easy as well. It's just aluminium or tin, aluminium being cheaper, but you've got to have made it. So tin, gold nuggets, or copper with aluminium, or iron ingots, or copper and iron ingots in a pattern. There's so many ways that you can make a machine chassis, and it's all very cheap anyway. So deflectors, super cheap, really easy to make. Just when you want to make a massive wall, they start adding up. Now other ways, let me just... That chainsaw does your head in after a while. I'm not gonna lie, it's really annoying sometimes. Right, now what else we got? We've got lots of different types of fence. So you can have all of these metal and baobab. I don't know what that is, but you've got lots of different types of fence. Now we all know what fence is. It's meh, you can jump over it and stuff. It's just kind of just place a block, jump over. That's why the deflectors are good. People can't do that. So if an enderman chucks a bit of grass down, your fence is useless, because anything can just walk up to the grass and then straight over the fence. Your deflector doesn't allow that. But there's also things like this. You've got chain link fence, which uses chain sheet, which is basically just a bit of iron. We have chain link fence with a post, and I assume you need to use that every certain length. But then you move on to stuff which actually injures stuff that touches it. So as you can see here, you've got barbed wire fence, and for that you need fence wire, which is just a button and some iron ingots. It's quite easy to make. and that does do damage. So anything that touches that as they walk along your fence trying to get in, it will damage it. You can do the same thing with a fence post. I don't know if that's just cosmetic or whether you actually need to use the fence post, so I'm going to give it a go in a minute. But you know, it's just as easy to make. It just needs a bit of fence post in there somewhere. You can use barbed wire fence post with iron fence posts. I honestly don't know if that's going to make any difference or if it is just cosmetic. I will find out though, I guess. And razor wire, which is kind of like the step up, and it does more damage. So razor wire is probably worth going for straight away. It's only 152 EMC per piece of razor wire, so a stack of 8 is like only 1200 EMC. It's far cheaper than the deflector. So if you're not interested in the look of the deflector, the razor wire will do the same sort of damage. It probably won't kill anything unless it sort of constantly rubs up against it, but you know, it's all good. We should probably try the razor wire first. So, you know, barbed wire, not massively useful. Chain link fence doesn't do any damage, it just looks cool. And then you've got barbed wire, better barbed wire, and razor wire. So we're going to go straight for razor wire just because we can. And it does the same thing, just looks slightly different. It does more damage. So first of all, we're going to make some of this fence wire, which is some iron and button. So that's not going to be too difficult, is it? Iron, I've got nearly 31 million EMC, I'm not particularly worried. Iron, button, looked like it needed wood ones, so chuck some of that back in. We don't need all of it, so put that across there, chuck that in, bam. That's a lot of fence wire. Now what do we need to do? Razor wire. We need the fence wire and we need some more iron, so we'll grab some more iron. Let's see what we need. So the fence wire literally just goes like that with the iron there. And why did I put that stack of iron back? Grab the other one. Don't ask. Right, razor wire. Boom. Boom. 64. Do you know what? I don't need to do this. It's all EMCable stuff. So I need to chuck a little bit of that in for EMC. And I chuck a little bit of razor wire in for EMC. And then we're good. See what I mean? It's all good. Chuck the deflector back in for now. Razor. Right. So we've got 64 razor wire. So let's give that a go. Clickety, clickety, clickety. So I will show you another defense at the moment, which is already here, and why I'm not too worried about having the fence up already. I'll show you in a second. I'll show you that before I show you the razor wire, because it will make more sense to you. Now, I'm not worried standing here that anything is going to touch me. The reason for that is because I'm using something called an interdiction torch. You can't see it, although normally you would be able to. You can't see it right now because I've hidden it. Now an interdiction torch is hidden under my little plate here. This little thing here. Now what it does, if I just take it back out, it's quite expensive. It costs 13,000 EMC per interdiction torch. Interdiction. And it's made with 3 diamonds, a philosopher's stone, 2 redstone torches and some glowstone dust. It doesn't consume the philosopher's stone. It just stays there after you make the recipe. Like most things which use philosopher's stones, it won't consume it. But you get 2 interdiction torches for that. And that costs 25,000 EMC to make. 12,000 each. Once you've made it, it's EMCable, you just pull out 1 at a time, but you have to make 2 to begin with, so you've got to have this amount of recipe. Why you wouldn't at this stage, I don't know, but still, there you go. So this is your interdiction torch. Now the basic premise of it is that it pushes stuff away, but it does have more than one use, so not really in terms of what it does, but for usefulness. If you put it on a wall, for instance, anything within 9 blocks will get pushed away. It works very much like Swiftwoof's Rending Gale, where if you try to walk near something, it'll get pushed away. Like the cow. See? Now, if I do the same thing with this, I don't think holding it does it. I should try that. No, see, holding doesn't do it. But if I were to put this down, I don't think he can move. He's pushed up against the wall. Oh, maybe it doesn't work against passive mobs. I need to find an aggressive mob. Must be one around somewhere. There's always an aggressive mob when you don't want one. Okay. Maybe this is going to work. I need to find an aggressive mob, and there's never one when you actually need it. Okay. Must be one in here. Aha! Now, watch this creeper try and reach me. And look, the skeleton can't shoot me either, because every time it tries to shoot me, the arrows get thrown away. Everything within 9 blocks, it gets this effect. They can't hit me. That's an interdiction torch. He hit me very quickly after I dropped it. Now the interdiction torch I put under the floor, so it works through other objects as well. So it works through walls. You don't have to hide it. You can put it out in plain view so everyone knows that they can't reach it. Although I don't think it works in PvP. I'm not entirely sure. You'd have to try that. I'm not much of a PvP guy. So I chucked that underneath there, which actually makes the deflector door completely pointless. Nothing can reach my door anyway. But there it is, just in case. And that kind of eliminates the point of having a fence, you know, because nothing can walk up to my door anyway. Nothing can get in my door, which is great. I mean, you can have completely open doorways with an interdiction torch. It's the same thing. And nothing can shoot you, nothing can throw potions at you and stuff. So it's great. It's really good. But that's why they're so expensive. You only really need one. Now, razor wire. Razor wire is like this. And it works very much the same as a fence. And it doesn't hurt you. But it does hurt mobs. And I'll use this. I'll leave it here. And hopefully overnight. See, it looks kind of crappy like that. But there's no post version of razor wire, so it's kind of, you can't make anything with it as such. Just facades, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a facade. So it doesn't hurt me, so I don't have to fear it, and I can jump over it with my power armor on. You can make it tall, like most other things, and it joins together. So you can fill in like windows and stuff if you really want to. If you want to make it look like a prison. So that's razor wire, and honestly, that's kind of exactly the same as barbed wire. Barbed wire. Now, barbed wire, I'll make a little bit of it because I want to show you what it looks like. So how do we make barbed wire? Barbed wire is kind of similar. It just uses the fence wire and a piece of ingot, and if you want to make it with a post, you just chuck a bit of aluminium or tin or iron. So that's all good. Let me just grab some out. That's just my food being replenished by the pedestal. So chuck that back in. I need wire. I need iron. So grab that. Now what else was I in need of to make the original? Oh, just iron. So that's fine. It's really, really easy to make stuff. Now it's just so much better than a fence, because at least the things trying to get in are hurt instead of being able to shoot over. They'll eventually die, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Now, I don't remember how to make it. I've literally just checked and I can't remember how to make it. Oh, there's only one at the top. There you go. So barbed wire. So we've got some of that, and then if I take this back out and put this in, you get some more barbed wire, but with a fancy posty thing. So let's just grab it all, chuck it back in here. So now I've learnt that. So barbed, take a stack of each and run out here. And this. That's a horrendous noise. Oh look, it actually joins up with the deflector. That's kind of pointless, but really cool. At least they thought about it. It joins up with the deflector, so that's kind of sweet. And you can make a post here, which kind of makes it look like it's a proper post. And then join it up. It elongates the post as well, which looks kind of cool. But it doesn't join up with fence. So if you want to protect something, you're going to have to remove your fence, really, to make it work properly, because that doesn't join up with the fence at all, and I can walk straight through there. So it does leave a gap, so you should be aware of that. Now, it still doesn't hurt me. I wonder if it will hurt Mr. Cow if I push him through it. That doesn't. Alright, calm down. Right. That does. Oh, it killed him really quickly. So that's what razor wire does to something. I think it only took 2 hits. Now, that kills really quickly. I'm going to try and test barbed wire, but I've got to find someone to test it on. Who wants to be tested? Right, you, come here. Swift Wolf says you're going this way. By the way, this is a really good use of Swift Wolf rending out. Just so you know. Don't die falling off. That would be really pointless. Right, I've got to move him this way. And then this way. Right, this is barbed wire test. See, it took like twice as long. So the razor wire looked like it killed it in like 2 hits. The barbed wire looked like it took 4. So, and the deflector just doesn't hurt passive animals, which is brilliant actually, because if you did have an escape and all of your sheep ran into it, you don't want them all to die, do you? But then bad mobs can kind of pass through this if they're lucky, or if you push it through quick enough, they're going to get through. So that's kind of it for defences. There is one other that I'm not going to turn on, but let me just chuck some of this stuff back in and I'll show you what you can do to make it. But I'm quite wary of this one, and I'll tell you why. It's the Tesla coil. Now the Tesla coil is a very, very powerful weapon. It will kill a person in diamond armor in 4 hits, which may not seem like a lot. It may not seem like loads, but it's quite quick. It will kill you very quickly. And you know, it uses an MV transformer. It's quite expensive to make. It's not EMCable. It has refined iron ingots, an electronic circuit, some redstone, and the MV transformer requires a machine block again, which is not EMCable, and some two gold cable things. So we've got those, I think. I don't think we have a machine block to hand. So is that 2? Yeah. So I could try and make one now quickly, which requires redstone as well. But machine block. Machine block. Wait, I was actually going to find out how to make a machine block. It's just refined iron. So refined. And I need some redstone. And I need an electronic circuit, which is easy enough to make. I think I've probably got one of those. Yeah, I've got one of those. Yeah, I make a lot of these things. So machine block. Now, I don't want to take too many of those. Now with machine block and this, we get an MV transformer. Now, this is a massive waste of my resources making this, because I know I'm not going to use it. But for the sake of science, we have a Tesla coil. Now, like I said, I'm actually quite terrified of this, and the reason for that is because it doesn't discriminate. It will kill you. It will kill you dead. Now, it needs a power source, which I'm not going to give it, and it needs a redstone signal to turn on. But other than that, it's actually quite a simple device. You place it, and anywhere within 4 blocks, it will fire lightning and kill pretty much everything straight away. It will kill most mobs instantly. An Enderman in 2 hits. A person wearing full diamond armor. Oh yeah, he died. Oh well. An Enderman in 2 hits. A person wearing diamond armor in 4 hits. It is a very powerful weapon, but it will not discriminate. It will kill you once you've placed it and turned it on. It's good for PvP. It's good for traps. It is not good if you are alone in a world with no way of turning it off and it's in a really bad place. So you literally would have to fire at it with your mining laser or something to turn it off. Destroy it, essentially. I just destroyed it by breaking it like that. It does require a wrench to disable properly. And that is kind of it. I'm not going to go into Tesla coils. I'm not going to show you guys how they work. And the reason for that is because, unlike some channels, I haven't turned off damage. And quite frankly, I don't want to lose my stuff. Because I wouldn't be able to get it back. I wouldn't be able to reach it. Once it's your Tesla coil kills you, your stuff is within the kill zone. So it becomes difficult to turn off. So I'm not going to do it. And besides, hopefully I've given you enough of an insight anyway into defending your place. There's probably more defences out there. They're the ones I know about at the moment. They're the ones that I understand how to use. The other ones, if there are any, are probably more complicated and they're not obvious from the block name itself. Maybe you have to create some. I don't know if there's deflectors like walls or projectors. Don't know if they're in this. There's antimatter relays, which means I could make a power flower, but I'm just not going to. See, there's a force track emitter. I don't think that's a defense. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, you see, it doesn't look like there's no projector. The only deflector in the game is the one that we're using. So that's not the same deflector as what you'd usually get in Tekkit Classic. And yeah, I guess the rest of them are like automated redstone devices like cannons and stuff like that. So that's kind of it. That's your defences. I said I was going to do a defences episode and I've made one. I'm not going to use the barbed wire stuff that I created anyway. As I said before, I prefer to use the deflector because you can just run through it. But that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. That's how we roll with defences. Hopefully this video was pretty cool for you guys. If it was, please click like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode of Let's Play Minecraft. Thanks again for watching, and bye bye.